What if you could visit a foreign country to see the locations of some of your favorite books, like Harry Potter, The Chronicles of Narnia, Sherlock Holmes, or Great Expectations? What if you could see where some of the most influential authors lived? What if this journey cost you just under $1,500 and you could explore for a week? You'd love it, wouldn't you? This is the journey you will be taking in the last week of October 2011 to London, England, to visit the houses of your favorite authors and the locations of some of your favorite books. First, you will be departing from Logan International Airport at 8:05 p.m. on October 24th, and you will be arriving to Heathrow Airport at 7:45 a.m. on October 25th. This will cost you a mere $775.97, or approximately 478 British pounds. Next, you'll take London Underground's Piccadilly line from Heathrow Terminal 4 to the Russell Square station. The Smart Russell Square Hostel is located here. You'll be staying here for the duration of your trip for only 73 British pounds. You'll walk from your hostel to the Guildhall Library shop. Guildhall Library, which was London's first lending library, opened in the 1420s. Although the original building does not stand today, Guildhall Library houses a specialized book collection including family history of nobles and royalty, and parliamentary history as well. After exploring Guildhall Library, you'll walk 30 minutes to Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. For 11.5 British pounds, you'll get to see the exhibits there and will be able to go on a tour of Shakespeare's reconstructed Globe Theatre. By doing this, you'll get an idea of how citizens would have seen Shakespeare's plays. Shakespeare's career flourished in the early 17th century due to Elizabeth I's prosperous rule. Shakespeare's plays, his over 150 sonnets, and narrative poems help shape characters and plot formations in modern Western literature. Next, you'll be walking from Shakespeare's Globe Theatre to the Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. The Poets' Corner, which is located in the south transept of the Abbey, acts as a memorial or resting place for several literary figures. The poets who have memorials here include John Milton, William Wordsworth, Thomas Gray, John Keats, Percy Shelley, William Blake, T.S. Eliot, Jane Austen, and the Bronte sisters. Some of the literary geniuses that lie here include Alfred Tennyson, Charles Dickens, and Rudyard Kipling. The next morning, you'll wake up and take a 30-minute walk to Hatchard's, London's oldest bookshop. Hatchard's was founded in 1797 on Piccadilly in London. The shop holds 3 royal warrants and has an outstanding range of books on royalty. The store has signings almost 3 times a month. Next, you'll take the tube from Piccadilly Circus to Hampstead Heath for 4 British pounds to visit John Keats' house and Sigmund Freud's house. Keats' house is where the poet John Keats lived from 1818 to 1820 and is the setting that inspired some of Keats' most memorable poetry. Keats wrote several poems here, including Ode to a Nightingale. As he was heavily influenced by Shakespeare and Milton, Keats became one of the principal poets of English Romanticism. You'll read his poem, To Autumn, on your way there because it is October and you happen to be going to his house. Next, you'll go to the Freud Museum, which is just 5 minutes away from John Keats' house. Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis, developed theories about the human psyche that allow authors to explore human motives. This museum uses Freud's house, so you'll get to see Freud's psychoanalysis couch on which his patients recline during psychoanalysis. It's said to be quite comfortable. The next morning, you'll be walking through London just as Charles Dickens did. To get to your starting point, you'll walk to the Leicester Square Station tube and take the tube to Chancery Lane Station for £4. You'll start your walk to Staple Inn, which is part of the setting for The Mystery of Edwin Drood. It was used as a wool staple, or the place where wool was weighed and taxed. It now houses the Institute of Actuaries. Next, you'll go to Barnard's Inn on Furnival Street. Here Pip and Herbert Pocket had chambers in Great Expectations. A chapter in Great Expectations is even entitled Barnard's Inn. Barnard's Inn, which dates back from the 1200s, was owned by a mayor of London and the Dean of Lincoln. It then housed law students before becoming a residential building. Next, you'll walk to Tooke's Court, which Dickens renamed Cook's Court in Bleak House. On your way back to the hostel, you will visit the Charles Dickens Museum for £5. This museum holds the most important collection of publications, furniture, and other various items related to Dickens' life. When Dickens lived here, he wrote the Pickwick Papers, Oliver Twist, Nicholas Nickleby, and Barnaby Rudge. The next morning, you will be visiting Daunt Books, which is just 10 minutes away from your hostel. Daunt Books is an Edwardian bookstore that arranges its books by geography rather than by genre because it specializes in travel. The next morning you will walk from your hostel to the Sherlock Holmes Museum in Paddington. Sherlock Holmes, the creation of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, became both a huge literary success and a well-known fictional character. Luckily, the mysteries take place in real locations, namely places around London and Holmes' famous 221B Street home. The museum contains a Victorian charm because everything in the museum was, indeed, mentioned in the book. The museum shop holds the largest supply of Holmes-related objects in the world. After savoring the museum, you'll walk just down the street to the Sherlock Mews to see where Holmes would have had his shoes made. When you stop walking at Manchester Square, you'll be able to visit the Wallace Collection. The Wallace Collection is completely free and houses dozens of paintings by artists all over the world. When you go to East Charing Cross Road, you'll be able to see where much of Sherlock Holmes takes place. You'll finish your day just as Watson and Holmes finish solving a crime, by dining at Simpson's in the Strand. For the next 2 days you'll be in Oxford. On the morning of Saturday, October 29th, you'll take a train from King's Cross to Oxford. 90 minutes later you'll arrive at Oxford, where you'll visit sites from C.S. Lewis's and J.R.R. Tolkien's life. After being a student at Oxford, Clive Staples Lewis, or C.S. Lewis, became a professor there. Here Lewis became friends with J.R.R. Tolkien, converted to Christianity, and wrote the Chronicles of Narnia. His works, especially the Chronicles of Narnia and The Great Divorce, have greatly impacted modern Christianity and the children's series. You'll go to Magdalen College, where Lewis taught English for almost 30 years. There you'll see the room he taught there, which is marked by red flowers and flower boxes. Next you'll go to the Eagle and Child pub. C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, and a few other literati in Oxford at the time started a club called the Inklings. Their discussions at the pub impacted Lewis's Narnia and Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. On the wall there is a framed paper saying that the Inklings had drunk to the landlord's health. You'll visit the Kilns, or Lewis's home between 1929 and 1963. There Lewis wrote the Chronicles of Narnia. A few children lived at the Kilns after they were evacuated from London because of World War I. Indeed, Peter, Susan, Lucy and Edmund, and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe were inspired by this incident, Lewis obviously being the mysteriously kind professor in the story. In C.S. Lewis's time, the house was surrounded by woodlands, but now the C.S. Lewis Nature Reserve is right behind the Kilns. The reserve can be recognized by any Chronicles of Narnia fan as the inspiration for Narnia's setting. Next you'll go to the Holy Trinity Church in Headington. Here Lewis worshipped from 1932 until 1963 after converting from atheism to Anglicanism. The pew Lewis sat in is marked by a plaque while the appropriately named Narnia window is next to it. The Narnia window commemorates 2 children of the church who died too young and depicts numerous characters from the Chronicles of Narnia. You'll then visit the grave of C.S. Lewis. The epitaph reads, "Men must endure their going hence." This quote from King Lear was on the Lewis family's Shakespeare calendar the day his mother died. C.S. Lewis's father kept the piece of paper the rest of his life. Lastly, you'll be staying in the Oxford Backpackers Hotel for £20